Tonight on To The Point, a dangerous red flag warning issued, with winds picking up where PG&E could turn the power off overnight. He could soon make more than $200 an hour, why Sacramento's city manager's salary could be even higher after tonight, and what you should know as COVID cases continue to rise. And you are looking at our first red flag warning of the year. The fire danger is increasing across the Sacramento region. Winds are picking up and humidity is dropping overnight. Good evening. This is To The Point. I'm Alex Bell. Due to the fire danger, PG&E tells us that they might shut off the power overnight for thousands of customers. So the counties impacted are on your screen right now. They include Colusa, Glenn, Shasta, Tehama, Butte, Lake, Napa, and Yolo counties. PG&E says they will be sending texts and emails to people impacted. They will not be calling people because if the power is shut off, it is expected to be shut off while people are sleeping. So now is the time to charge your phones and other devices. Make sure you have those flashlights nearby and be ready to go if you are told to evacuate. And we do have team coverage on the red flag warning. Our Luke Cleary is looking at how firefighters are preparing for the night. But first, we start off with meteorologist Carly Gomez looking at the fire conditions.
Okay, let's talk about them. The red flag warning in effect from Redding all the way south through Sacramento, and it's primarily the west side of the valley that's going to be impacted the most because of strong winds that are expected to move down the valley. And these winds are going to be coming from the north, meaning they're going to be much drier. They're moving over land as opposed to what we normally see when they come in off the ocean, bringing that marine air, at least bringing some moisture headed our way. That is not happening in this case. We're looking at northerly winds as much as 15 to 25 miles per hour. The gusts could be as high as 35 miles per hour, and low humidity in the overnight hours. Typically recover overnight. We will not be tonight. 8 to 20% relative humidity. Now, this lasts from tonight, 11 p.m. through 8 p.m. Wednesday. So again, be prepared. We're seeing humidity around 25% for the Sacramento area. And remember, this is where we get some of the wind from the bay, but we're getting it from the north. 15% Marysville. We do expect these numbers to drop even into the evening hours. Now, so take a look at the winds currently. We're going to be seeing them continuing to move their way down from the north. As you see it there from areas of Redding, pushing down just west here of most of I-5 into Sacramento. And those are the areas primarily we are looking at the potential for power shutoffs. Now, again, still Sacramento included in that red flag warning. We will see more of the winds continuing toward the end of the week, but different kind of wind off the coast. Expect hazy conditions as we move into tomorrow in the overnight hours, causing pretty bad air quality for most as wildfire smoke will be headed our way. We'll talk more about this coming up.
To track weather conditions at any time, download the free ABC 10 app from your favorite app store. And remember to turn on your notifications. We have been hearing from weather experts and firefighters ahead of this red flag warning. Our Luke Cleary is live in El Dorado Hills joining us now. Good evening, Luke.
Hi, Alex. Where we're standing in El Dorado Hills, we're just right on the edge of that red flag warning, but we are starting to feel the wind pick up, and it's a very dry wind, extremely low humidity, and scenes like the one you're seeing right here, all of this dry vegetation, very typical for our area. You can just feel how dry these grasses are. This is all fuel for a potential fire. I just got done speaking with Captain at Sac Metro Fire about how they're preparing for these conditions. We've got gusts of wind expected later through the night that all add up to a recipe for potentially devastating wildfires in a year that has been relatively subdued in terms of the massive wildfires that we really haven't been seeing this year so far. I spoke with a National Weather Service meteorologist about that.
We still have several months before we start to see our typical wet season, so there's still time for us to have additional periods of hot, dry conditions and windy conditions, so we're not out of the clear yet.
It's very important at times like these that people take precautions, that they are very careful about where they dispose of their cigarette butts, or making sure that they put out their campfires. Even something so much as parking your car over dry grass, that too could even spark a fire. And speaking with Sac Metro Fire, they say it's very important that people have a go bag ready, that they know what they would do in the case of a fire coming through their neighborhood. We're going to have a lot more for you on this tonight as we continue to track conditions throughout the evening, Alex, tonight at 11 on Late News Tonight.
All right, Luke, thank you so much. In other news, monster trucks caught fire on Highway 50 this afternoon. A big rig was carrying them. The driver was able to get away safely. Traffic was impacted for a few hours while that fire was put out. The Placer County Board of Supervisors just ratified a letter opposing the release of a sexually violent predator, but that does not mean William Stevenson, the man at the center of this, won't be released. The letter will be presented to the Superior Court. It will be considered as they decide what to do with Stevenson next. He is scheduled to be back in court on Friday. And kids in South Modesto are being approached by people in a gray car after school. People are allegedly trying to get the children into their vehicles. The Stanislaus County Sheriff's Office is looking into 3 separate incidents. On Monday, 2 kids say they were approached by a man in a gray car at a bus stop on Vivian and Poland Streets. And then 2 days later, near Fairview Park, a woman in a gray BMW tried to stop kids.
There was a female that stated that she knew one of the children's mothers and to get into a vehicle so then she could take the child to her mother.
In all the incidents, the children wouldn't get into the car. They wouldn't get close to it. They ran immediately and they told their parents. The Modesto Police Department and Stanislaus County Sheriff's Office are increasing patrols in the area to help track down these suspects. And tonight, the highest paid person in the city of Sacramento may be getting even more money. City Manager Howard Chan is also one of the highest paid city managers in the state. Our Jeannie Nguyen is live at City Hall sharing with us how much more he may be getting.
Alex, right now in City Hall chambers behind me, City Council members are discussing whether or not to approve a cost of living adjustment for City Manager Howard Chan. Now, to be clear, this is different than your standard raise. Now, just last November, City Council approved a 7.5% pay raise for City Manager Howard Chan. With that raise, Chan made $192.62, including an extra 30 days of paid time off. That put him just at above $400,000 a year. And tonight, if City Council approves the cost of living adjustment, Chan's new hourly rate will be $202.24, which would also include an additional 240 hours of leave time. That would be about a $20,000 pay bump. A spokesperson for the city manager says this salary increase is a cost of living adjustment and that extra paid time off is not related to the cost of living. Some city residents say it doesn't make sense how a public official could make so much money.
It's going to be perceived as a raise to you and me. I can't understand how they can possibly justify that given all of the crisis level emergencies that we're still dealing with on top of a budget shortfall coming up.
Now, all of this comes just after City Council voted to give Chan the full authority to make decisions on how to deal with the homeless crisis. On top of that, Chan is responsible for all city departments, including the Sacramento Police Department. We asked his office, during a time when many people are struggling to make ends meet, to pay bills and food, does the city manager feel like he deserves another pay increase? A spokesperson for his office did not answer the question and refused an interview. The mayor also would not comment on this before the meeting. Now, to be clear, if City Council passes this, other city employees will also be getting this cost of living adjustment. Again, this is up for discussion as City Council does have the last say on this, and we will keep you updated on air and online once that decision has been made. Alex, back to you.
Thank you, Jeannie. Next, on to the point, a hurricane is barreling toward Florida. Who from our area is on the way to help?
We are looking at the air quality index right now. Moderate conditions for Sacramento, but Yuba City North, unhealthy air quality. We will see some changes overnight. How long bad air quality will be sticking around?
And COVID cases are on the rise. What you should know for the weeks ahead.
In a current wave, and I know everybody out there knows someone who has COVID right now, and those are the ones that happen to test.
A hurricane is barreling toward Florida tonight. A state of emergency is underway in at least 49 Florida counties, with many under mandatory evacuation orders. About 300,000 residents have been told to leave their homes. The storm surge could reach 12 feet, and Governor Newsom has deployed urban search and rescue crews to Florida and Georgia to help prepare people before the storm and assist in the search and rescue after. And this is a view right now of the hurricane from space. Cuba got hit with it today with powerful waves and strong winds. So we have Carly now talking about what is next for this storm.
Yeah, the storm is quickly approaching the coastline there in Florida. And what we're seeing with this, it's a current Category 2, but we do expect it to intensify to a major hurricane, which is 3 and above, so 3 to 5, as it begins to make its way onshore. And this is going to be in a matter of 6 to 12 hours. Now, depending on whether or not it's going to continue stalling out a little longer or just continues its track, we're going to expect to see this in really the next 6 to 8 hours as it moves in the overnight hours. Remember, they are 3 hours ahead. But as you take a look here, you can see the hurricane warnings, not just from the Big Bend area, but down all the way pretty much about Tampa there, as they are starting to get the outer bands of that rainstorm moving in with those strong winds. Category 2, but we do expect that intensification to happen within at least the next few hours, from a 2 to right at that 3 mark here as we get to about 2 a.m. Eastern time, 115 mile per hour winds. But you notice it's pushing itself right there as a 3 as it borderlines Florida into Georgia, then expecting to downgrade to about a 1 as it moves toward areas of South Carolina, and then a tropical storm becoming a depression offshore as it continues on its path toward Friday. We do have closer to home a red flag warning all the way from Redding down through Sacramento. This is going to be in effect tonight. That's 11 p.m. to Wednesday, 8 p.m. for areas of Redding, again, down to Sacramento, but it's going to be the west side of the valley dealing with the brunt of it, with strong winds, dry humidity. You are seeing humidity levels around 25% for the most part, but could drop down to the single digits overnight. We'll see some strong winds also moving into the region, 15 to 20 miles per hour, as we also take a look here at what we can expect moving toward really as we start getting into your Friday, I should say. We are going to get temperatures dropping down into the 70s. Check that out Friday and Saturday, and then Labor Day, 88 degrees.
Next, on To the Point, COVID cases are on the rise, what you should know for the weeks ahead, and new developments in the debate over parental notification and transgender youth. Welcome back. COVID is not going away. Cases are on the rise again, but the good news is hospitalizations remain near historic lows, and another booster shot, well, it is on the way. As students are returning to school for the fall, COVID-19 hospitalizations are once again on the rise. The CDC saying new data shows hospitalizations have increased nearly 19% in the most recent week. But while the nation has seen a slight increase in COVID deaths, those numbers remain near historic lows.
We've had the summer wave in 2020, 2021, 2022, and now 2023. It is predictable. It's what COVID does.
Former White House COVID advisor Dr. Deborah Birx is urging people to take the virus more seriously, noting that hospital admissions for COVID never reached zero. She's also calling for a more updated booster for the latest variant.
We're in a current wave, and I know everybody out there knows someone who has COVID right now, and those are the ones that happen to test.
At this point, the CDC says the new variant does not appear to cause more severe illness, but numbers are up.
Over the past few weeks, we've definitely seen an uptick in the numbers of COVID. A lot of those patients that have been coming in for unrelated illnesses are found to have COVID.
People are encouraged to get the new booster as soon as it's available. And the new updated COVID booster shot should be available in mid-September. President Biden is requesting additional funding so the new vaccine can be widely available. It's also almost flu season, so if you are getting a COVID shot, ask about getting a flu shot too. Today, the Biden administration announced a new deal for patients that have Medicare. 10 prescription drugs will now be subject to price negotiations with Medicare. The list of drugs are on your screen right now. These treat everything from heart failure, blood clots, and blood cancers to diabetes, kidney diseases, arthritis, and more.
We pay more for prescription drugs than any other major economy in the world. For years, Big Pharma blocked us. They kept prescription drug prices high to increase their profits and extend patents on existing drugs to suppress fair competition instead of innovating. Playing games with pricing so they could charge whatever they can. But this is finally, we had enough votes by a matter of 1 to beat Big Pharma.
This is all part of the president's Inflation Reduction Act. The impact won't be immediately felt. The negotiations will occur this year and next, with the new prices becoming effective in 2026. A battle over parental notification policies is heating up across the state. The policy requires staff to notify parents if their children request to be identified by a different gender or name, among other things. And yesterday on To The Point, we introduced you to a group trying to get this policy and more on the 2024 ballot. And today, a rally was held at the state capitol pushing for protections for the LGBTQ plus community. State Superintendent Tony Thurmond was among today's speakers. The state just filed a lawsuit against the Chino Valley School District out in Southern California, who enacted a parental notification policy.
We're investigating districts that are accused of discriminating against LGBTQ plus students and students of color. And we believe that the lawsuit filed by the Attorney General will help to settle some issues here once and for all in the California courts, that students are entitled to privacy as it relates to their gender identity.
Tony Thurmond had to be escorted out of the Chino Valley School Board meetings weeks ago, where he spoke out against the parental notification policy. And a state audit found that almost 700,000 Native American artifacts are in the California State University system illegally. It reveals that only 6% of Native American remains and artifacts at CSU campuses have been returned since the passage of the 1990 Native American Graves Protection and Repatriation Act. Of the 21 campuses audited, Sacramento State has given back 5% of its collection. We are hearing from Sacramento State coming up tonight on Late News Tonight at 11. In Sacramento, our local SPCA is helping animals displaced from the Maui wildfires and Hurricane Hillary. Our Roxanne Elias visited the shelter today.
Flooding from Hurricane Hillary has left pets like Tuck fending for their lives.
First things you have to understand is that all of these communities, if they have a shelter, especially in California, that shelter is already full before the disaster happens.
Ken Altine, the CEO of Sacramento SPCA, says shelters must then move out the animals that don't have homes. This is to make room for other pets from people who need help with housing.
When a disaster happens in Southern California, in Maui, in Northern California, we send a message that says, how can we best help? Do you need us to send you supplies? Do you need us to send you staff? Because remember, shelters are staffed by people in the community.
They also take in animals. So far, the organization has taken in 3 small dogs from Orange County because of Hurricane Hillary and is waiting on a few from the Maui wildfires.
This is 2-year-old Tuck. He's one of the rescues from Orange County. The shelter says he's going to be ready for adoption this Thursday. They're looking for a responsible family who is willing to stay with him for the first few weeks just so that he gets comfortable at his new home.
Sacramento SPCA is expecting the need for Maui or Orange County to be greater in the next few weeks. That's because more animals will be found.
At the same time that people who were displaced in their homes will be getting housing that may not allow pets.
It's a balancing act the shelter faces in the middle of wildfire season, but it's prepared for the challenge.
We want to make sure we don't overwhelm our own organization and our own resources, because we don't know where that next fire might be. It might be right here in Sacramento County, and we need to be able to respond.
And you can help Sacramento SPCA by adopting an animal or by donating time or money. For more on how you can help, we do have a link on abc10.com/tothepoint. Next on To The Point, a few words of advice as we experience our first red flag warning of the year. Welcome back. For those just turning on the TV, there is a red flag warning tonight for the Sacramento region. The area in red on your screen is the impacted area. Winds are picking up and humidity is dropping. Things might be downright dangerous overnight, and PG&E is expected to shut off power for thousands of customers. The counties impacted are on your screen right now. They include Colusa, Glenn, Shasta, Tehama, Butte, Lake, Napa, and Yolo counties. PG&E says they will be sending texts and emails to people impacted. We are told they will not call people because the shutoffs could happen in the middle of the night. So now is the time to charge your phones and your devices. And if there is a fire and you were told to evacuate, just evacuate. And if there is a fire and you were told not to evacuate, but you're concerned, don't take any chances. Just trust your gut and get to safety. Our Brandon Ritteman has a few words of advice too.
Most of us are used to getting alerts for everything. But in a fire, you don't have to wait to be told. Alert systems don't always work. There's no substitute for your own judgment to decide when to go. Deadly wildfires don't always look like a wall of flames. Thick black smoke blowing over your head or falling embers are signs to get out. Don't be the person in your group who stays behind to save the house or put together one more box of stuff to save. Your loved ones may need your eyes and ears for job number one, staying alive. Nothing in your house is more important than that.
Be safe tonight. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. Have a great night. Hey, it's Alex. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. I really love hearing from everyone, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. Reach out to me on Facebook at AlexBellTV, or you can email me at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send me a text message at 916-321-3310.